Welcome back to the EAM Crypto channel and to episode number 13 of the Market Weekly Recap. We've been covering just about everything in the last few weeks, but no matter what we covered, nothing has changed. We're still very much in a downtrend, and it looks like it's been one bear flag after another, just destroying this market. So I want to talk a little bit about what happened this past week, but more importantly, talk about the upcoming weeks to see how we might be able to figure out a way to profit off all these really tough macro conditions. And Powell made it crystal clear on Friday. So last week was kind of a week of patience, just letting the short positions do their thing. Market was not doing a whole lot, but it was still very much kind of a good environment to be short. And then just wait on Powell to see what he did on Friday. And he did what we kind of thought he would do, right? Which is basically make it crystal clear that number one and first and foremost, they want to fight inflation. The inflation monster is number one on their minds. And I feel like what's happening in Europe and other parts of the world have just made it that much easier for Powell and his colleagues to take the decision in the course that they did. The language that he used on Friday was pretty strong. And moving forward, I think it's very clear that with what's happening in Madrid right now, with their inflation at 12%, the UK is at 10%, but it's forecast to get as high as 18% in early 2023. You have a million different things going wrong with China. I mean, we can do a whole episode on all the issues happening in China. And then in Europe, on top of the inflation, now you have this energy crisis and energy prices just going crazy. And we're not even in winter yet. So it's going to get really gross is what the market is telling us, what the charts are telling us, what the data is telling us. So Powell's thinking, well, we can't have that here in the U.S. as far as double-digit inflation. I mean, we're close, but he's thinking we can't have that. So he's going to fight that first. And if that means that the markets are going to feel pain, so be it. If, many are going to feel pain with higher prices, with maybe loss of jobs and things of that nature. But he doesn't want to have an issue where the inflation just completely and utterly destroys the worth of our money. So I do agree with Powell's decision and to tackle inflation first. And even though it sucks as a trader or with the markets or with some of our long-term bags or 401ks and all that good stuff, I think it is the best thing to do. And then in time, if we're patient, then we will see a bunch of value spots. And in the meantime, let's just keep finding good spots to short. So moving forward, as far as in the weeks to come, there are a couple of very compelling events that I want to cover. There's a lot of charts that I want to cover, from BTC to Ethereum to Near to Litecoin, AVAX, BNB, and many of these I want to make it very clear. It's via looking for good spots to short. With Ethereum and Near, we might be able to find some good spots to long, and we'll go into detail with that when we look at the charts. But NearCom comes up on September 11th. So if the market allows, if the macro allows, if BTC allows, maybe we can find a good spot to do like a little swing trade or scalp trade with Near as we get closer to that date, and kind of a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing with NearCom. And then with Ethereum, the same thing. How are we going to play the merge? It's going to get really interesting. So let's get into the charts and dig up all that because there's a lot to get into. And now a word from our partner and sponsor, Swapsicle. Swapsicle is by far my favorite DEX. Their goal is to build a comprehensive, decentralized trading platform for the future of finance. They are completely based on transparency. They have a fully doxed team. They have a full legal team. And these guys are constantly building and working on more and more partnerships. So I will have all their links to their site and to their Twitter below the video so you guys can go check them out. And they are by far the cheapest DEX that I know. So in these times, it's optimal to save as much money as you can when swapping crypto. So why not go to a reliable, solid DEX that is also the least expensive? Swapsicle. All right, so let's get into the charts. Looks like BTC, the chart that basically rules all of crypto, 19,890-ish, did not hold. Here we're at 19,700. So hold on tight. It's going to get really interesting, guys. It's going to get really interesting. So first things first, we'll just kind of go over BTC maybe on a higher, we're on the 1 day right now, but I guess the big question is what's going to happen, right? Are we going to be able to hold from the prior low, which was what, 17.5-ish, 17.6, something like that? I can't even remember. What's going to happen when we hit that I mean, there's just really nothing that should be keeping us from hitting that. There really isn't. So that's going to be the question. Does that hold? Can we maybe even somehow figure out a way to form a higher low than that low and then build up from that as we get closer to the merge and things like that? But yeah, I think that's pretty much the question. If we just kind of take everything in stride, it doesn't look good. The momentum just keeps building on the daily and building and building. You know, it's funny because the TA kind of told us what Powell was going to say. It really kind of did. Show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. There's a reason why that saying's been around for longer than I've been alive. So yeah, I mean, there's just not a whole lot keeping us from that. There just isn't. RSI is clearly in the bearish control zone, probably on all yeah, I mean, it's just not good, guys, not good. So yeah, I mean, we are headed towards in my opinion testing that low again, or maybe getting very close to it. We will see, but I just don't see anything that makes me feel comfortable stating that, yeah, we're gonna you know, for sure form a higher low or be able to form some kind of double bottom. I mean, it's just, we'll see what the TA tells us, but right now that's the case. So if that's the case, how is it going to affect everything else? Well, looking at Ethereum, I think I tweeted a week or two ago, I said Ethereum C at 1420, and here we are at 1450. So 1420, why do I think the 1420 makes sense? It's because of this high right here, that wick right there, and then this wick low here. That's, both of them are at, to be exact, 1421 and 93 cents. So that's where I feel we will see some support, and then we'll see what happens with the merge coming up very soon. You got to wonder what's going to happen. But if that doesn't hold, then 1240 actually looks like a decent resistance level right here. 1240, as you can see right here, there's just plenty of bodies on the daily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7 right there. We give that one at 1232. We count that one. There's a lot more resistance at 1240 than there is at 1421. So 1240 might be the real resistance. So I am not gonna take a fresh long at 1421. I don't think, unless if the indicators kind of tell me something different. I think 1240 is where I could probably take a more aggressive fresh long with Ethereum. Don't really feel like shorting Ethereum at this stage, and I mean, maybe if 1420 just gets destroyed, then maybe shorting it down to 1240. But I mean, look at the negative momentum just starting to build, and here we are. I think the first part of the merge starts on the 6th, which is, I guess, about 9 days away, and then the second piece should complete everything on the 15th, if I remember correctly, or 13th or 14th or 16th, something like that. So not far away at all, and here we are. So yeah, look, there we are, 1442, almost to my my call. 1420 wasn't my call, what the TA implied. 1421, 1422. This was weeks ago. I tweeted that, right? Because it's been a bit, but yeah, looks like we're getting really close to that. And I can't wait to see how Ethereum responds and how the market participants and the bulls for Ethereum respond at 1421. So we will see. We're almost there. It seems almost inevitable. I see no reason from applying traditional TA to think that we are not heading there. And then that's where we got some decisions to make. But yeah, I guess one could make an argument for creating a short if 1421 gets destroyed, and then just make sure that you know that short needs to be closed at 1240, because 1240 does look like pretty solid resistance. So, and then maybe that will start the move up as we get closer to the merge and FOMO changes. But with the macro looking so low, I just don't know, guys. I just don't know if you can even, I mean, just maybe a scalp long at 1240. I don't know. I'm just talking out loud. I'm just a guy. I'm not giving financial advice, just telling you what I'm going to do. All right, so Near, this one's really interesting to me. So one thing that has been incredibly profitable in crypto for many over the years, I've seen it time and time again since 2017, is buy the rumor, sell the news. And NearCon could be a perfect example of that, where with NearCon coming up on September 11th, it could give us the opportunity to take a fresh long on NearCon, and then just like the day before that event, or maybe the day of the event, all the FOMO, the excitement about NearCon happens, then sell. So that's kind of how I want to play this Near. token and project as a scalp or as a swing trade, but I just don't know when to enter. I mean, if we look at, it's the same story, right? With Ethereum, with Bitcoin, look at it on the daily. Negative momentum is just starting to build. RSI is clearly trending low, lower and lower. I mean, it just doesn't look great. The weekly, I'm going to assume, is not looking great either. Actually, the weekly, it's kind of trying to figure out what it's going to do, but it doesn't look great, right? I mean, it just doesn't. It looks better than the 1 day. And the 4 day doesn't look as bad as a 1 day, but doesn't look great either. So, I mean, there's just nothing to like right now. But what I'm hoping is that as we get closer to the 11th, that's about, what, 14 days away? I forget, what's today, the 28th, 29th? 28th, Sunday the 28th. Yeah, so we're 14 days away from NearCon. So we'll see. Interesting that NearCon's on a Sunday, because weekends provide a lot less liquidity, a lot more volatility. There could be a lot going on that weekend, but usually those kinds of plays you want to do them about a week, 10 days before. The smart money really starts doing it way before, but with the macro being so bad, I remember with Uniswap, I did that last summer, and I noticed that the smart money was buying Uniswap like 3 weeks in advance. So you just got to kind of be careful with that. I mean, what if that's already priced into NearCon? So yeah, you got to be really careful, but I am going to play that some way, somehow. I just don't know how. And then it's funny because the second that I get rid of my NearCon tokens or positions, because I'm probably just going to do it on BitGet as far as on leverage, I think then going to just do a short. I'm just going to turn around and short it. So I think that's going to be my play, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. All right, so looks like Ethereum's getting closer to that. So let's look at Litecoin. That's another one that I've been saying for a while now. Anyone that asked me, I think this is one of the worst looking charts for a while. Some other charts are starting to look worse. And then today, Litecoin again, like this weekend, I think 2 different times, it just went on these weird kind of little runs. Here it'll be more evident, maybe like on a 2-hour chart. Look at that. It went on this crazy little kind of scam pump, right? All the way to $58. Provided an easy short. When you see this big wick right here, that was a good time to go in on the next candle if you wanted to. Another wick here gave more opportunity. And yeah, I mean, it just felt like a couple of weird scam pumps for no reason. So anyway, Litecoin, let's see how it looks on the daily. It still doesn't look good. Yeah, still, despite those pumps, it's still momentum. It's still looking pretty awful. And yeah, I see no reason to think, if we were to look at Litecoin on a higher time frame, it is starting to look better on the weekly actually, but on the daily, it just gives me no reason to think that it won't be in the 40s. So a $40 to $45 Litecoin in time seems very, very likely to me. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think that this is a good one where I have a, to be completely transparent, I'm also short on Litecoin, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. AVAX. Let's talk about AVAX. So of all the L1s, this is probably the one that's the scariest. And, you know, when we think about, you know, next year, when things maybe start changing, Powell decides to either pump on the brakes or even better pivot, right, and start changing things up a little bit with their stance. And maybe we've already, you know, gone through a few months of quantitative tightening versus quantitative easing, which we've seen for years and years. Then maybe things start turning around, and then we're going to be looking at tokens and projects like AVAX or like BNB that are completely and utterly destroyed, and they're at a beautiful value spot, right? Because we believe that crypto long-term on a huge bull. So if you look at AVAX versus, for example, like a BNB, it's just 2 totally different stories. Because when I think about which one I rather hodl and buy my hodl back and buy a bunch of it when I feel that it's an amazing value spot, how are we going to know with AVAX what that spot is? There's not enough history. There's not enough history. I mean, we don't know. We have this history down here that went down as low as $13.95, but that's not much. So that's going to make AVAX really, really tricky, because that's what's really the value spot below that. If in 2023 BTC is still struggling, the markets are still struggling, Who knows how low BTC can go? How low is this going to go? Is it going to go to $8, $9, $10, $5? It's anybody's guess, man. No one knows. At least with BNB, if we were to take that route, at least here we have data. We know with BNB, this one's also pretty sad sounding, but we know with BNB that if you cannot hold right here what it did not that long ago, earlier this summer, at about 183 to 184, 185, bye-bye. I mean, the next level of resistance is really not going to be until about 140. And if that doesn't hold, the next level of resistance we know is going to be down here at around 876 to 80. And then the one after that's going to be like in the 40s. So there, at least we know we can have a plan. We can kind of, be very strategic and detailed, have stop losses, all sorts of stuff. So with BNB, and we know that they have a huge ecosystem, they're not going anywhere. But with a token like AVAX, what do you do? Like, that's just gambling. I mean, because we have no idea. Like, what kind of plan are you going to formulate? Oh, well, if it drops to 13, I'm going to buy again. Okay, great. That's not much history. So then it goes below 13. Well, when are you going to put a stop loss? Can't do anything. You have no idea what's going to happen with this asset. No idea whatsoever. This reminds me of 2017, 2018, when people tried to play that kind of game with all these different assets and they just couldn't figure out the lows. It would drop 90%. Well, surely now's a great time. And then it would drop another 90% on top of that. So that's why with me, with AVAX, it is probably the worst of all the L1s to me, as far as a play of like a hodl play when things are at, what we will consider value spots at the time. That will be the one to avoid, in my opinion. BNB will be the one to probably hit on the hardest if we're not talking about BTC and Ethereum. And I think BNB would provide some amazing returns. And if the macro gets horrible enough and bad enough, and I know I'm sounding crazy, but people told me that I was crazy when I was shorting, FTM at over $1. And I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it could happen. Just imagine a BNB at 48 to $50, and we are long term on it, and we're going to hodl through the next bull market. Which the next bull run, I mean, it's kind of hard to think of BNB not hitting 1,000, right? Because I think it got up to like 800 or 700 this time around. So just imagine writing something from 40, $50 all the way to like 1,200 or something like that. That's where you can make the huge money, the huge returns. And this is not a risky asset. BNB isn't. Like, we know it's not going anywhere. So I love that. So that's going to be probably my biggest play when I think that the macro is about getting closer to like turning around, right? So we can't pick bottoms, we can't pick tops, it's impossible. But when it's really time to start DCAing hard, I think BNB will be the best. The best of the best is, I guess, my 2 cents on BNB. And just looking at Ethereum, 1442 now, getting lower and lower. And then, yeah, I just wanted to kind of go over one more thing, guys. And look, I'm not going to cover any of the DeFi projects we usually cover just because right now it's, look, I mean, for 5 months straight, I've been talking about, I mean, we can cover it, but for 5 months straight, I've been talking about this all summer long. We need more liquidity. We need more market participants. And it's really been looking, worse and worse. And just, the biggest eye opener was with Wine and Grape Finance. When I was interviewing LB the other day, before that interview, they were down to like 9 to 10K volume a day. Now we're back up to like 29K, and this is like the 3rd or 4th day in a row. So that's good. That's good that it's kind of tripled, but there's just not enough liquidity with these DeFi projects, and they're just getting hammered. It sucks to see. So let's see which good ones. MDB doesn't seem to care. It's still at, getting very close to the cent. So very close to all-time highs, 8% up in the last 24 hours, still doing well. But most of them are just getting hammered, and we just need them to survive, right? To survive these horrible bear markets. So yeah, be careful with your money, guys. I like to think some of them will survive, and I'm counting on it and cheering them on. And I just wanted to go over MagicCraft once again, because this is just something that I want to make sure that I am very, very intentional and deliberate in talking about to you guys, because and look, guys, I'm kind of fighting my own back because I'm going to keep getting MagicCraft tokens because I was part of the pre-sale. But look, guys, with the way that the market is, with these types of games, with play to earn games that are still a ways away from getting to where they want to be, this could be the future, right? All these play to earn games could be the future. and will most likely, if things pan out like many hope, will provide the huge returns, right? The 100x's, the 500x's, no doubt. But when I've sold every token that I've gotten. I've even done some trades with Magikcraft. I don't own a single token right now in any of my wallets because of the fact that it only has 16% of circulation is out, and it just went up so much in such a short amount of time, which I'm really grateful for. Amazing. But when you've gone from 0.02 cents all the way up to 20 cents, 2.1 cents, in this kind of environment, you got to take profits. So I'm using Magikcraft as an example. If you guys see any play to earn game, if you look at the Galas or Veracities or Ultras and all of those, and you see them pump hard, but the macro still sucks, be careful, guys, because every single one that I just talked about, they are all overvalued, especially like Ultra and Veracity. Go look at their fully diluted market cap. I mean, and then look at their circulating supply and just be really, really careful. I know that a lot of people that watch this are invested or love those types of projects. I will be in those types of projects as well when I feel like the macro is going to turn around soon. I will definitely be in there, and I'll be in there hard. I'm going to invest big into those. But right now, it's just going to be, you're just going to see more and more of charts like this, that they will have their times when they run, and then they're going to give it all back. How much of this 2.1 cents will Magikcraft give back? Well, if the macro still sucks in early Q1 of next year, it's probably going to be down here somewhere, right? You got to think. So yeah, guys, just be really careful, trade safe, trade defensively, protect your money, look for good spots. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people are anti-shorting, and if you're anti-shorting, then be anti-shorting. If you are into shorting, I've been, pretty active with that, and it's been great. Yeah, so anyways, I feel like I've probably talked for way too long, but I hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode. So if there's any other projects that you want me to cover in any aspect of any kind of market, whether traditional market or any of the different parts of crypto, let me know, and I'll be glad to cover it. All right, see you guys in the next one. Take care.